Hello and welcome to another video, and welcome to a recommendations video. It's been a really long time since I've filmed one of these, but I just had to do it. I only recently got home from work and I thought I've got the afternoon to myself, I will film a video, and I was going to film my reading list for September. Kind of know what I'm going to read. And I spotted on my shelf a book that I actually only bought last week, which is a nice short queer book, and I thought, brilliant, I'm going to read that in September because it's Shorty September. And I love short books. I'm constantly going on about how great short books are because it's incredibly hard to write an absolutely perfect book in less than 200 pages, less than 150 pages. But some writers manage it, and I absolutely love when they do. I love a short book. So Shorty September it's definitely the read-along designed for me. But when I saw this book on my shelf, so it's a queer short book. Let me have a quick look and see how many pages. It's 138 pages. Oh, perfect. I just thought, oh, I wonder if I've got any other short queer books. And I looked on my shelf and I've got so many LGBTQ books that are around 200. Some of them are a little bit over it, and quite a lot of them are less than 200 pages. So I thought, well, that's just it. It's fate. I have to film this video. So I have a big pile of books here, all except for the one book I just mentioned, which I haven't read yet. We'll get to that. But I've read all of the rest of these. So these are actual recommendations of books that I have read and I have kept. The type of books that I tend to keep are either ones that are 5-star favourites, I know I'm going to read it again, or I'm going to want to lend it to someone, so I'll keep it, or LGBTQ books. Those are the ones that I collect. So, okay, not all of these I loved, but not every book can be for me, so you might love them. So some of them I didn't love as much as others, but I have separated these into kind of favourites, and I've got a kind of short stories, edited collections and non-fiction, and then I've got a series which I'm going to recommend you, and then I've got books in translation, and then I've got Musk because I couldn't fit it into any other category. So yeah, although I don't love all of these books, I'm sure that there's a reader out there for every book, so you might like them. So I just thought I would recommend them to you. So let's start with my first very loose category, which is just kind of a non-fiction book, an edited collection, and a collection of short stories, which the short story one is actually one of my favourite books as well. It should be in my favourites pile, but I wanted to include it in here so I could have a little category. So let's start with a non-fiction book. Now this book, I'm starting with the grimmest one, but this book is called An Underground Life, Memoirs of a Gay Jew in Nazi Berlin, and it's by Beck. This is one of the reasons why I collect LGBTQ books, because some books are actually very hard to find. I think this was only published in America. It's very difficult to get hold of. I think I spent a lot of money on it trying to get it imported. And it's also translated. It's translated from the German by Alison Brown, and it's published by the University of Wisconsin Press. And let's have a look. Because it's Shorty September, I can do my favourite thing, which is tell you page numbers. This is 165 pages long. I don't really need to explain this book because it does exactly what it says on the cover. It is the memoir of a gay Jewish man who was born in Germany and grew up in Germany and was living in Berlin during the Second World War. And it's brilliant. It's quite harrowing. It's quite hard to read, but it is absolutely fascinating, and I really liked it. It's got a couple of pictures in there I just spotted. It's very well written. I think he wrote it with somebody else. Let's have a look. It was written with Frank Hebert, I think that is. Really fascinating book. Really interesting insight into what life was like during the Second World War for a gay Jewish man. I've just realised that I have a lot of books here and I'm going into quite a lot of detail, so I'm going to try and rein that in a bit. The next book I want to recommend you is a collected work, and this was published a few years ago. It's called Queer Ukraine, an anthology of LGBTQI plus Ukrainian voices during wartime. This is published in the UK by Reynard Press, and again, it does exactly what you'd imagine by that description, and it is just an anthology of different LGBTQ Ukrainian people. Some of them are little essays, some of them are very kind of short vignettes, some of them are poems, I think. Just refreshing my memory by flicking through this. There's a little poem there. There's quite a few sort of poems. Some of them are kind of little diary entries. This is a great collection. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm pretty sure it's still in print. I forgot to check before I started this video, but Reynard Press are a really small publisher in the UK, and I bought it directly from them, so I will link their website in the description box below. And the last little one in this category, like I said, is one of my favourite books. I could have included this at the end in my favourite book pile, but this is a collection of linked short stories. If you know me, you know I don't really love short stories, so you might be surprised that this has made it to my favourites. But then it is Kirsty Logan, and I am a huge Kirsty Logan fangirl. This is called A Portable Shelter. So this is, oh, I didn't say the page number of the last one, but you saw it was tiny. This is quite small. Let's have a look. It is 161 pages, but this is actually about two women whose names are Liska and Ruth, and they are expecting the birth of their first child. And what they do is they kind of tell stories to the unborn child. So when the one that's pregnant is asleep, her partner tells the baby stories, and then when she's gone and the pregnant one, I can't remember which one's which, sorry, it's been a while since I've read it, but she tells stories to the unborn child as well. So they kind of are both telling stories, but kind of without each other knowing. And the stories are a bit weird. They're a bit creepy, they're a bit supernatural, they're a bit unusual. This is one of my favourite Kirsty Logan books. Like I said, I'm a big Kirsty Logan fangirl. Okay, I'm still going into a lot of details, so I'm going to stop. So my next category of books is miscellaneous, because I couldn't think of any other category to put them in, except perhaps that neither of them are British writers. Let's go with that one, that's a good category. So my first one is God in Pink, which is a novel by Hasan Namie. This is set in Iraq in the early kind of 2000s, I think it's around 2003. And it is about a young man who is both queer and Muslim, and he's in the closet and cannot come out to his family, but decides to come out to the sheikh at the local mosque. It says his tolerance is challenged by the contradiction between Rami, who's the main character, between his dilemma and the teachings of the Quran. I think if you're religious, or if you're at all interested in religion, I think this is really fascinating, because it really kind of looks at that kind of contradiction between the teachings and the real human being in front of you who is suffering. And I think that's a really, really interesting insight. And this was published in Canada, and the author was born in Iraq, but came to Canada as a young man. And I'm just looking, let's have a look. It is 151 pages. I really, really liked this book. It was really interesting. So the next book is a book by Suyin, and it is called Winter Love. I bought this a few years ago and really, really liked it. It's very kind of unusual. It wasn't quite as gay as I was hoping it would be, but this author was born in 1917 in China and died in 2012. And this, I don't know if it is translated, because it doesn't actually say. Bear with me while I have a look. I can't see that it is translated. It was first published though in 1962. And this is about a woman called Red, who is kind of drawn in romantically, sexually, intrigued by this woman called Mara, who is one of her new classmates, and Mara has just got married but isn't entirely happy, and Red kind of like gets completely besotted by her. It turns into an affair between the two of them, and this is set during the Second World War. And it is, I'm trying to speed up now because I've realised I've been talking for like 5 hours already, 159 pages long. And it is published by a very small press called Fox, Finch and Tepper, who I don't think have published that many books. But this one I got in my local bookshop and absolutely loved it. It was great. So my next category is translated fiction, and I have 4 books for you in my translated fiction. The first one is one I didn't love, but I would love to know if you've read it, and you can tell me what your opinion is, or read it in September and let me know. And this is called A Country for Dying, and it's by Abedellah Taia, and it is translated by Emma Ramadan. This, I'd say, is one of those books where you've got more character than plot. There's not really a lot that happens. It's set in Paris in the summer of, I want to say it's about 2010, and it's about a group of queer friends and their love lives. That's really all I can say about it. There's not really much else that goes on very much. It is good. I didn't love it, but it is quite good, and it's 136 pages long, very, very short. The next book that I did absolutely love, I read this, I want to say about 5 years ago, and I still think about it now, and that's the Iliac Crest by Cristina, Rovera, Garza, and it is translated by Sarah Booker. This is published by And Other Stories, and it is, let's have a look, 138 pages long. Oh, it's got a translator's note at the back. 132 pages long. This is essentially, I don't even know how to describe this book. If you've read it, you'll know, because it's like, it's super weird. It's basically, on a dark and stormy night, an unnamed narrator is visited by two women. One is his former lover, the other is a complete stranger who kind of seems to know him, and they just question him, and they claim that they know what his big secret is, the fact that he is actually a woman, but he denies this. He's like, no, I'm not a woman, I'm a man. What are you saying? This has a lot to say about gender and about gender representation and about gender presentation and about kind of the constrictions of gender that society places on people. It's fascinating. It is, I did say it was translated, and I think it's translated from the Spanish, and I'm pretty sure it's set in Mexico, yeah. And I loved this. I would quite like to read it again. Maybe I'll reread it in September. I don't want to commit myself, but I might do. The next book is, oh, I love this book, Fair Play by Tove Jansson, and this is, it's introduced by Ali Smith, not translated, translated from the Swedish by Thomas Teal. So this is, I guess, a kind of semi-autobiographical, very, very short novel. And it is about two women who are living in the same house. They live in at opposite ends of the same house, and they're very much in love and partners. And nothing really happens. Oh, it's just glorious though, but it's just so good. Like, I can't describe it because nothing happens in it. But it's really, really good, and I really love it. This is published by Sort of Books. I literally don't think I've heard of, despite the fact that I've owned this book for a really long time. This book is 127 pages. It appears to be getting shorter. I can't describe this book to you other than it's just a meditation about love and friendship, and Ali Smith likes it, so, you know, I'm sure you will too. The last one in this translated section is this one, which is The Tree and the Vine by Dola de Jong, and this is translated by Kirsten Geerman. I think this is, I want to say Dutch. Translated from the Dutch. See, I remember. It's been a few years since I read this one. This I remember not being quite as kind of on the page, upfront queerness that I was expecting from it. But it was first published in 1954 in the Netherlands, so I feel like maybe that's why. It does say it was groundbreaking in its time, quite for its frank and sensitive depiction of love between two women. This is a new translation of it. This is published by Transit Books, who I think are an American publisher. It's just about two women, Erica and Bea, in the lead up to the Nazi occupation of Amsterdam. And Erica is a journalist and has lots of relationships with women. Bea is more reserved, but she grows kind of increasingly. It's another book about obsession, about two people meeting and one of them getting completely obsessed with the other one. Erica is kind of half Jewish and a member of the Dutch resistance and in danger. And there's a little bit of tension in this book, I think. It's quite a good book. I didn't love it, but I think there are lots of people who will. It's another nice short one, and it is 137 pages long. Great historical fiction, but I think for the time period that it was written in, there's lots of kind of secrecy and nudge nudge, wink wink, and subtlety. It's not quite so obvious on the page. So I think if you're looking for that, or if you're aware of that rather when you go in, I think you'll probably actually quite like this book. I kind of want to read it again now. Okay, before I get to my favourites, I just want to recommend a series of books, the last of which I haven't read, and they are 3 books by Constance Debre. So the first one is called Playboy. I got this and then read it, and I think it was about 3 hours I read it in, or 4 hours. Like, I could not put it down. I just was absolutely glued to it. Glued. Love Me Tender is the second one. Didn't love this as much, but I still read it in about 2 days. It's another really short one, and the third one in the series is called Name. They are incredibly short, as you can see, so 172 pages, but some of the chapters, as you can see, are just a paragraph on a page. That's why it's so very, very easy to read and very, very short. So this, because it's French fiction, if you read French fiction, you'll know, it's autofiction. So this is essentially Constance Debre's life. when I picked this up from the bookshop, the bookseller did say to me, is this fiction or non-fiction? And I said, well, both, because it's French. But it is about a woman who is married to a man and they have a son, and then she decides to leave him, and she decides to then live her life as a lesbian, claims that identity, shaves her hair, and just has a lot of sex with women. And in the first one is about her kind of going through that journey of kind of saying, no, I'm going to live my life like this, and this is what I'm going to do. And the second one is about her son and the kind of relationship between them. I didn't find that as engaging. The third one, I couldn't tell you what it's about. I just got it because it's the third one. Her most intense novel yet. Set partly in the narrator's childhood, explores ideas about origins and reshapes relationships, etc, etc. I will warn you, the main character, who I guess is based on Constance, because that is her story. She did leave her husband and child for a woman and have lots of relationships with women and shave her hair, and apparently it's quite controversial in France. I will warn you, the main character is awful, and I hated in the first book. She's just a misogynist. There's so much self-loathing, but it's written so brilliantly. There's much less of that in the second, but maybe that's why I didn't like it as much, because I didn't feel so viscerally angry at the character. I didn't hate her so much. Who knows what I will experience with the third. But if you want a nice short series of books, they're all very pretty as well. It's published by, it's got a lighthouse on the side. Are they called? Oh God, who's this published by? Tusker Rock Press. I was going to say they're called like Lighthouse Press or something, but it's not even a publisher. Translated by Lauren Elkin. I'm assuming that they're all translated by the same person, but I'll quickly check for you. Oh no, they're not. The first one's translated by Holly James. The second one is also translated. Oh, so that's interesting. The third one's translated by someone different. Oh, I wonder if that will change my reading experience. Anyway, I really like the first two books. Can't wait to read the third one in September. Can definitely recommend if you like reading books but you hate the main character. My last little pile is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to whiz through these quickly, but these are 5 absolute favourites. The first one is Box Hill by Adam Mars Jones. This, as you can see, is a Fitzcarraldo book. I love this book so much. It has 120 pages. I still remember this book, and I read it, oh my God, when was it? 5 years ago? 6 years? When was this published? I read it when it's first published. Let's have a look. Oh, it's signed. I didn't know it was signed. I completely forgot that. It was first published in 2020, so I read it 5 years ago. So this is about a young man who, for someone that I absolutely love this book, couldn't tell you the kid's name. A Story of Low Self-Esteem is the subtitle. I don't even know if this character is named. I couldn't tell you what his name. Maybe that's why I can't remember his name. Anyway, Ray. Oh no, Ray's the man. Anyway, so this is about a young man who, I think it's either his 16th birthday or his 18th. I feel like 18th would be more appropriate, so it's probably 16. He goes to Box Hill, which is just outside London. And it's a kind of hangout ground for bikers. And he literally stumbles over this guy called Ray, who's a biker, and Ray becomes his, like, what's the word? Well, anyway, Ray takes this young boy back to his house where this boy lives as his kind of sex slave, and it's a very kind of submissive relationship that, I'm trying to be very delicate here. If you've read it, you know. I thought this was such a fascinating exploration of what it's like to kind of willingly want to give yourself, like, it's so far out of my kind of realm of understanding, to willingly want to give yourself up to just be in someone's I will do whatever you want slave. I mean, literally on a leash, kind of, literally. It's quite graphic. Don't leave it open when your kids are around. It's really good though. It's really good. Like, I really, really liked this. I've never read any of Adam Mars Jones's other books. I read a lot of his book reviews that he does. 120 pages. Really great. Loved it. The next 2 books I'm constantly mentioning on this channel. So if you're already a subscriber, if you've been around here a while, you'll know my absolute adoration for Philippe Besson but in case you don't, I'm going to really quickly tell you about these two. So this one is literally smaller. I grumble about this every time. Why can't you just make books that are the same size? This is a normal size paperback. So the first one we've got is In the Absence of Men, which is my favourite of his two novels that I've got, which have been translated into English. He's a French writer. This is translated by Frank Wynne. I'll do my second favourite first, actually. So Lie With Me is by Philippe Besson. It's translated by Molly Ringwald. Yes, that Molly Ringwald. And translated from the French. And this has been made into a movie, which I didn't love. It's good. I bought it on DVD. I've got a collection of DVDs. So I did like it, but I didn't love it. It's not like the greatest adaptation. They added like this whole extra storyline. Anyway, I didn't love it. The book is amazing. So it's basically about it's French, so it's by Philippe Besson. It's about a character called Philippe, who's a writer, and he kind of meets someone who looks a lot like this. Like, he's a lot older, I think he's in his 50s, and then he meets someone who looks a lot like this boy that he had an affair with when they were in school many, many years ago. And it kind of flips him back in time. He starts to remember this relationship. The film, I liked the scenes when we went back to the young boys. I thought that was very true to the novel and very atmospheric. It was certainly true to the kind of the atmosphere of the book. But the bits in the future, I didn't like that. The book's much, much better. Let's have a look at how many pages. This is published in the UK by Penguin. It is 148 pages long. It's got a very heartbreaking ending. It is a beautiful, beautiful book, and I love it. But my favourite is actually In the Absence of Men, because rather predictably this is my favourite because it's set during the First World War. So you've got a young man called Vincent, I think. I thought I'd got him mixed up with the other guy. No. So you've got Vincent, who is too young in 1916 to go and fight in the war, but he is having a relationship with a young man who is old enough, who fights, and he's also having a kind of young man, older man, I look up to you, there's something weirdly sexual there, but it's slightly uncomfortable kind of relationship with Marcel Proust at the same time, because why not? And this is just a beautiful, beautiful novel. Like I said, this is translated by Frank Wynne, and this is published in the UK by Vintage. I do like the cover, I just don't like that it's stupidly small. Anyway, moving on. Which way round should I do this? I'm going to leave the slightly non-gay book till last. I know this is weird for an LGBTQ recommendation, but this is the one I'm going to recommend penultimately, and this is Swimming in the Monsoon Sea by Shyam Selvadurai, who is one of my favourite queer authors. People don't talk about his books enough. This is published in the UK by Penguin, but actually, I think I might lie, because I think this is the Indian edition, because I couldn't find it in the UK. But he writes a lot of books which are set in Sri Lanka, and this is set in 1980 in the monsoon season in Sri Lanka, and it's about a 14-year-old boy who is not really looking forward, more dreading a kind of uneventful summer with his family. And then everything goes awry when he falls in love with a boy, which he's not expecting. This is an absolutely beautiful, it's kind of a coming of age novel. I love it. I've got nothing else to say about it other than that. I think this is one of the longest ones, which is 211 pages. And finally, I think my favourite, which is a kind of accidental queer book. So coming in at, let's have a look, 184, oh no, that's an afterword, yeah, 184 pages, and that is A Strange Meeting by Susan Hill. This is about soldiers in the First World War, so of course I love it. But this is based on, the title is based on a Wilfred Owen poem, and I love me some Wilfred Owen, First World War poet, in case you don't know. This is about a young man called John, who is returning to the Western Front after a brief period of sick leave, and then he meets David. Now, the reason I say this is accidentally queer is because if you read this book, it's so gay, like so gay. It's very subtle. It was written in the 70s, but I read an interview with Susan Hill where somebody asked her about the queerness in this book, and her reaction is what I think I want to leave us with, because I just thought her reaction was brilliant, because she said, I'm paraphrasing her because I can't remember her exact words, but she said something like, oh, I didn't write them as queer characters, but I can totally see how you would think that. That's great. And she was really comfortable with it. I think kind of showing that actually maybe what the authors intended isn't always what people read into it, and actually you should just embrace that. So this, I think, is an accidental queer book that is just so beautiful and that's why I wanted to include it, and it's lovely and short. So those are, oh, that's a lot of books, and this has become a very long video because of that. Those are all of my kind of suggestions, my recommendations. I'm going to try and hold them up now, for Shorty September. I would love to know, wow, that's a lot of books. I would love to know if you have read any of these, if you would recommend them to other people. You can comment and let people know your thoughts, let me know your thoughts. If you've got any other recommendations of nice, short, I'm talking like super short, definitely less than 200 pages, but some of these less than 150. If you know of any other LGBTQ books you would like to recommend, then please do let us know in the comments below. I am going to end there before these topple over and hit me in the face, which will be embarrassing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in another video.